We're going to be at the Impact Conference from the Illinois Landscape Contractors Association. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about that coming up, Resilient Landscapes Redefining the Design, Build, Maintain Paradigm. If you're a contractor, if you're, if you're just interested in how to put plants in somebody's yard, you should come by to the Chicago Botanic Garden. And there's going to be a lot of great people, and Peggy and I are going to be talking to them during the conference all day long. And if Facebook lets us pop them up there. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg woke up early and he's actually listening to the show? Do you think that's what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he looked out, saw a gull on a tree, and turned us off.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
But that we will be there.
And you can get tickets still for that event to go at ilc.net/impact-conference.
Okay. So, and I was looking at some of the other stuff that we've been doing in the past week. And one of the things, as you know, we celebrated the Chicago Excellence in Gardening Awards, and we gave out a lot of those awards last week, and people are starting to take photographs of them in their yards, which is really cool. And then we get to post them on the website and the Facebook page and Instagram and wherever we want to put them. So it's really cool.
Yeah. And Marlene Fisher sent a great one last week.
Yeah, because
she's won all 3 years.
She's got the hat trick for 3 years of the competition. Yeah. So congratulations to all those people, and thanks for putting your photos up there. We really, really appreciate it. I was noticing, speaking of Facebook, when I do all these posts about all these important things going on, conferences and issues involving city government and people getting fined for planting natives in their yard and stuff, and we get a decent response. You get 400, 500 folks who see it, and then you put up a yellow a yellow cardinal, and it gets 3,500. And I'm like, okay, that's fake. Why didn't you put up a yellow cat? Okay, that would get
That's next week.
That would be twice as many.
That'll be next week.
That it was.
I have to find the one that's dancing and playing the piano while being yellow.
They're out there. Believe me, that is out there. So, but I don't. As Kathleen said, she said, people want to know this stuff. If there's a yellow have you ever seen a yellow cardinal?
No, it's very rare.
Yeah.
And actually, somebody did post that they had seen one in their yard this summer, they said. It's an albino. It's a recessive gene causing the cardinal to be yellow, and from what I was reading about it, the southern cardinal is more likely to be yellow versus the northern, which would just kind of fade to a pinkish white.
Oh, that's yellow, that photo, unless they tweak the photo. And you were talking about the photo on the blog post that I put up last night for today, and what color is the sky. On some screens, it's purple. That tree is like magenta.
That's an electric tree.
That's an electric tree. It's because I posted it on my computer yesterday, and I looked at it, and it was dull because I had this beautiful maple and leafing out in red, and I took the photo, and it was this beautiful garish red. I went, good, this is going to be the blog post photo, and I put it up there, and then I looked at it and went, this is dull. So I started tweaking it, and apparently on other screens now, the sky's purple.
But it gets your attention going by. You can't miss it.
You cannot miss it. You're going to go, on this screen, on this computer, it's purple sky. But the tree looks great. What can I tell you? So.
There's a few trees I've seen in the neighborhood yesterday, especially with the sun out and the sun hitting them. Just brilliant colors right now. So get outside today. It's a gorgeous sunny day to see the trees. Before they're gone.
Do it now. As Scott said, he thinks we're about at peak or just about to get there. So this is a good time to go out and see the tree color, because Rick DeMille wrote to us and said, hey, we might have snow by next week. Oh, great. Thanks, Rick. He'll be on later in the show. But coming up, we're going to be talking about Illinois Green veterans and how they can get involved in clean energy. It's a great conversation. The Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki. We'll be right back.
It's a new year,
and Chicagoans are still looking for new and better ways to get healthier. This is Peggy, and I publish Natural Awakenings, Chicago's greenest and healthiest local magazine. And if you want to reach our area's growing wellness and sustainability market, you need to get your business in front of our 80,000 engaged monthly readers. Call me today at 847-858-3697 to learn more. 847-858-3697. And check us out at nachicago.com. Stay in touch with The Mike Nowak Show. Find us on Facebook at The Mike Nowak Show. Use the Twitter handle at Mike Now. Send us a photo on Instagram at The Mike Nowak Show or write to us, mike@mikenovak.net. We're also at thegreendivas.com and on the Gab Radio Network. Podcasts and blog posts are available every week at mikenovak.net. Sign up for posts in our newsletter on the home.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Support the sponsors who support us. Look for their
1,
videos and
2,
specials at
3,
mikenovak.net.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
McHenry County College Green Living Expo returns on Saturday, November 2nd, and it's packed with cool, sustainable exhibits and learning experiences. The Clean Transportation exhibit features luxury electric vehicles. There are workshops on regenerative agriculture, composting, and recycling. Visit with area farms, CSAs, and other organizations to learn more about local agriculture. There are more than 100 area businesses and organizations offering green exhibits. Taste local food, go on the Sustainable Artist Walk, and tour the beautiful new MCC greenhouse and high tunnels. The Green Living Expo is free and open to the public. Peggy and I will be there. Come and join us. McHenry County College, Saturday,
Off Facebook.
November 2nd from 10 a.m.
Okay.
to 3 p.m. Go to mchenry.edu/green-expo or contact the MCC Office of Sustainability at 815-479-7765. Welcome back to the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki. And we found out about our next guest from our assistant, Ellie, who was working with her somewhere in the Park District, right?
We were both members of the Student Conservation Association, and we worked with the Nature Oasis program of the Chicago Park District.
There we go. And that's Sergeant Jessica Klinge. She's in the studio with us. We're very pleased to have her on board. And so Ellie wrote to us and said, hey, Sergeant Klinge is organizing something called Illinois Green Veterans. It's a national organization, but she was trying to get something going here in the state of Illinois. And would you be willing to talk to her on the show? I said, absolutely. Are you kidding? That sounds like a great deal. So Sergeant Klinge, welcome to the program. Should I call you Sergeant Jessica? What should I call you here?
You can just call me Jessica.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, and thank you so much for having me.
And first of all, thank you for your service. And thank you for reaching out to other vets to get them to be part of the new clean energy economy. So tell us a little bit about how that happened with you.
Well, for me specifically, I was getting a master's of sustainable management at the University of Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So for my project thesis, I chose this topic of how to get veterans into sustainability. And then while I was researching it, I found about all these different organizations that were kind of starting the same things, Green Veterans, but also Mission Continues and Chicago Veterans. So a lot of different organizations that are also trying to get veterans into the sustainability field. And so the Green Veterans, the founder, Brian Solis, he was trying to get a chapter started in Illinois, and so I got into meeting with him, and so that's where we started from.
How do we get her out from that microphone?
Sorry.
No. Actually, go the other way. Go that way a little more. There we go. And no, we just want her on the mic. That would be good. I mean, or on the.
So now you can move closer to it.
Yeah, now you can move.
Is that good?
Because we are live now on YouTube and Twitter, just
Okay.
not Facebook.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good enough.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We only got a few minutes.
Yeah.
We're good.
So there's this event coming up on Tuesday, and it is called Green Veterans Listen, Lead, Share, a conversation about clean energy. This is a partnership with Illinois Green Veterans, Illinois Green Alliance, and the Clean Jobs Coalition. And it happens at the American Legion Tatler Post, which is 4355 Northwestern Avenue in Chicago from 6 to 8 p.m. What's going to happen at this event?
So the Illinois Clean Jobs Coalition, they've had several of these events in different communities. And so really they're trying to get feedback to make the Clean Energy Jobs Act even stronger. Because when the Future Energy Jobs Act was passed in 2016, like $12 billion went through, funding and jobs and training and energy efficiency programs, but they didn't really get a lot of feedback from community members. So this is to really make the next phase of it, the Clean Energy Jobs Act, even stronger and better, and things that really work for veterans and other communities. So they're trying to solicit feedback of which programs would be the best. And we also are going to have home energy efficiency information, and also jobs that are currently with the Future Energy Jobs Act as well.
So, what is there anything in the service when you are in the service preparing for civilian life afterward? Are you learning much about the clean energy economy or sustainability? I mean, I just wonder if there's anything in there that prepares you to do something like this.
Well, like my job in the Army is a paralegal. So I'm a chief paralegal. That's what I do in the Army Reserves. There are, for the military, they actually do, I have heard that they do want to promote energy efficiency within the military, because there is, in the past, there's been a lot of waste with that. So they are looking to get energy efficiency like throughout the military, and I've seen like other people like in the Air Force and the Army try to direct resources better to make it better energy efficient there. So.
But obviously, you have an interest in it personally, because you were part of the Student Conservation Association. So what led to that in your own life?
So I originally wanted to always help individuals. I started with the Wisconsin Public Interest Research Group, and I started with the Homeless and Hunger Campaign. So originally I always wanted to help people and individuals. And when I learned about climate change and all these challenges that will face the human population in the future, I really want to help solve those problems. And so I see what I tried to do is try to help both people and the environment, because I see them very linked. And so that's why I try to pursue goals and objectives that would help both of them, like for teaching and like for workforce development.
And so if folks aren't aware of this, again, the Future Energy Jobs Act was passed in 2016 in Illinois, and it is kind of put Illinois up there as a chance to be a leader in clean energy. The problem is we don't have the vets organization in the state right now. Is that right?
Well, this is our first event for our chapter.
Okay. And how many people are behind this event, putting this together, besides you? It's not just you, I assume.
No. We have partners at the Illinois Green Alliance, Illinois Clean Jobs Coalition, and under the Illinois Clean Jobs Coalition, we have a member. One of our facilitators would be is a member of a Citizens Utility Board and Elevate Energy. So those will be our facilitators. So we have several partners, and of course, American Legion is our host.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's a bigger model nationally with the U.S. Green Building Council, Green Veterans Group. So I noticed there were similar projects, say, in Florida.
Florida and Milwaukee. Yeah, the founder, Brian Solis, they started it in Florida, and they brought the chapter to Milwaukee, and they partnered with Groundworks, and I know they've done a lot of urban agriculture and organic like therapy. Like they've had veterans go through programs to where it helps with their PTSD, and so kind of like a combination of horticulture, job training, and to help with PTSD.
Well, we've talked to folks like that on the show in the past. I had a couple of women on several years ago. They have a farm in Indiana called Wild Blue Yonder, and part of their goal was to train vets and to help them cope. Some have harder times than others getting back into society, and agriculture and farming is a great way to do that. And perhaps you're thinking the clean energy sector will do the same thing.
Yes, but also, yeah, I agree that the urban agriculture that's been part of the most effective in like helping with PTSD therapy. I would say like a lot of the veterans, like when I interviewed like for my master's degree program, a lot of veterans they really seek a purpose afterwards. Like all the veterans I spoke to, like one thing that they really missed about the military was having a purpose. So I think you can find that purpose in a lot of different ways. Yeah, that may be through the energy field or the urban agriculture or horticulture or even other like nonprofits. A lot of veterans go into like nonprofit work that I interviewed for my project thesis. So yeah, I think the important thing is finding the purpose, and that really helps with PTSD or other trauma to help build a community after your service.
And it just flew out of my head. Had a question here.
Well, I was going to mention, I was reading on some of the material from Illinois Green Veterans Program that you've got the 4 pillars of Green Vets, and that was one of them, the trauma resolution through green building, but also reintegration, sustainability training, and veteran-oriented service projects. And one of the side stories that I had been reading to prepare for the show was saying how so many of the jobs for vets coming back seem to just be blue collar, and it was interesting how the green programs are bringing more electrical engineering and a lot of the other engineering and highly skilled projects for vets as opposed to strictly blue collar.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely true. You need a wide spectrum of jobs for veterans because there's definitely veterans with like bachelor's degrees and veterans that can bring a lot of skills that people don't realize. Yeah, initially, I think sometimes like a lot of pushes for veteran jobs, like they go, oh, just have a job, just like unskilled. But a lot of veterans do have a lot of skills and from their different jobs, because like in the military you have a plethora of jobs. You have like engineering jobs. You have I'm a paralegal in the military, so you have all different kinds of work in the military that people can bring to the civilian world.
Do you plan to pursue the paralegal in civilian life?
Actually, I'm planning more environmental education. That's
okay.
That's my plan.
All right, no, and that's why you're doing this, obviously.
That's why I'm more interested in workforce development and environmental education. I just actually applied for the Peace Corps, and so I have my interview on 28th October. So, and that's for doing environmental education. So that's why I want to pursue more. I've always, I've enjoyed my work with the JAG Corps in the military and being a paralegal in the military. But I want to do more environmental education personally.
So as you're getting the Illinois Green Veterans started with this program on Tuesday, what are the next steps? Where do you see this going in the next few months?
Well, when I did my my master's degree project, I know 2 things that would really help veterans transition into careers is educating veterans on what's out there like currently, educating them on like their benefits and what programs there are out there, and then also getting specific programming for veterans. Like for example, the Chicago Botanical Gardens, they already have a veteran internship that they I think 5 to 10 veterans that they train every year on either horticulture or environmental education or like their collections fields. So getting more specific programs like that, I think would be good to try to expand that. And then educating veterans what's already out there would be our 2 main goals. And then we also, Mission Continues already is doing projects with local community gardens to help that and give provide training for veterans and local community members with that. So those would be our next steps. So
I'm looking at your Illinois Green Veterans Program information, and what you have here is 4 pillars of Green Vets. Reintegration, empower veterans to use the skills gained through military service to help sustain the very nation they fought for by collaborating with civilian and veteran alike on green initiatives. Sustainability training, provide practical green education veterans can utilize to gain experience and confidence that they will be valuable to prospective employers. Veteran-oriented service projects connect with partner organizations to collaborate on community projects utilizing their military training. And trauma resolution through green building. Implement design strategies focused on human health and well-being to simultaneously affect mental well-being of the spaces we are trying to enhance. That's a pretty ambitious agenda there. But I think obviously this is something that's needed. Do you think veterans have more or less difficulty finding work when they get out of the service?
Well, I mean, I think it definitely it depends. Like when I did my my research, it depends on the veteran. Veterans who have PTSD and combat and trauma related experiences statistically have a harder time getting work. So it depends. Like if you have a good support and community, like when you return, that'll make it easier transition. If you do already have a college degree, that makes it easier transition. But if you do have like trauma, or if you're diagnosed with PTSD, that doesn't make it difficult. So I think it depends on the veteran. But yeah, I think there could be ways to make it a lot easier, especially like if like when you transition to have veterans like know about all these different opportunities and all these different opportunities in the clean energy field.
Mm-hmm.
You want ways to make it easier. What else? I mean, what pops into your head when you say, how can employers here help veterans find work and opportunities for careers?
In the green sector, especially.
I think if you have a designated point of contact at companies, and if veterans really want to specifically hire veterans, like for example, a lot of companies, they'll say, oh, we want to hire veterans, and it's just
Nice,
just like
nice
in
talk.
general,
Yeah.
like in general. They don't have like specific, like, okay, we're going to hire like 10 veterans or 15 veterans. It's just something that it's just something that's said, like, okay, we just want to hire, we just want to hire veterans in general. But as they accept applications, they're treated as like any other application. So that isn't really, but if you have like if you have special initiatives or special training programs,
Mm-hmm.
like we want to train like 15 veterans, or we want to hire specifically like 15 veterans. I think that's the designated point of contact or designated programs is the best way to actually help veterans specifically. And I think also in when you go through a transition process, most active duty members, they go through a transition process, and to also like provide that information there as well. Like these are employers that are willing to specifically hire veterans, and these are specific training programs that will hire veterans. So I think that's one way that could help. Is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's what I was going to say. So it sounds like you have some very specific ideas about
Okay.
how you want to help veterans, but you also have advice for the people who would be hiring veterans, and here's how you need to make it specific so that you can bring these folks into your organization. And it sounds like in some cases it's not as specific as it could be right now.
Yeah, we have contacted different partners, and I hope to contact them more and to try to expand upon programs that they already have for veterans. And in our event, we're also looking at veterans that are already in the field, and for them to speak at our event at the Clean Energy Jobs Act. So yeah, we are looking to partner with those people and to expand.
Well, the event is Green Veterans Listen, Lead, Share, a conversation about clean energy partnership with Illinois Green Veterans, Illinois Green Alliance, and the Clean Jobs Coalition at the American Legion Tatler Post, 4355 Northwestern Chicago, from 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Thank you so much, Sergeant Jessica Klinge, for coming in.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Great.
All right.
Thank you so much. Keep us posted how
Really
it goes.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you
hope
for
that
taking-
was okay.
That was wonderful.
I never really got interviewed for radio before, so
Oh, no,
I
well,
hope
see,
that was
now
okay.
It's a new job skill you have.
You did great. But yeah, let us know where this is going and how, Green Alliance is getting involved and what other groups are coming.
Yeah, and there's other groups too. There's I didn't get I guess I didn't get a chance to really talk about it, but there's also Veterans Advanced Energy Summit, and they in August they had an event, 150 people attended, and they had Representative Caston from Illinois 6th District there, and they focused a lot on their talk on entrepreneurship, and also how it's really a national security. The climate change is really a national security risk. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely,
so that's another veteran, and the person who started that was Dan Mish. So there's another veteran who's also doing similar things as well. So yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even get into that about climate security, climate change, and it
Yeah, we
being a
should. Yeah,
That's
sorry.
okay. That's
Yeah,
okay. It's those are things that you think. Well,
I thought about like saying it, but I didn't know what questions you guys are gonna ask. So.
I should have just said, "You talk," and we'll listen.
And we'll jump in occasionally.
Anyway, thank you
Well,
so
thank you
much
so
for.
much for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
And Ellie will send you the link for the podcast. And Benjamin's on the phone.
Okay, great.
And I've got Wing City Grange here.
Okay.
So we're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We won't be back on Facebook.
And we don't even know if the video on YouTube will stick. I got it.
So get your tickets, the rules, and all the other small print details at illinoissolar.org today.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Sue McCarthy.
Join us for the Travel Planners Radio Show
6 to 8 p.m. Saturday.
on Smart Talk, WCGO, AM and FM.
Still out there. The New Horizons still headed out to the edge of the solar system. And of course, that's the. All right, now I don't seem. There we go.
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm glad you can hear me because I couldn't. Welcome back to the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki. Lots of things going on this week. As we mentioned on Tuesday, we're going to be at the Impact Conference all day for the Illinois Landscape Contractors Association. But then on Thursday, there's a celebration of Midwest Grows Green. We've had them on the show before, and they're having their 4-year anniversary celebration, and it's going to be at Patagonia, Chicago, in Lincoln Park, 1800 North Clybourne Avenue. So what's going to happen there is there's going to be a panel talking about natural lawn care, if you prefer organic lawn care, and I'm going to be part of this. And it's going to feature Chip Osborne, who I haven't talked to in a long time, but he's kind of a guru about this. He is from an outfit called Osborne Organics, and he's been doing this a long time, and I've had him on the show, but not for a number of years. And I'm really excited to be able to talk to him and other folks on the panel. And we will discuss natural lawn care, but here's the best part. All right. There's going to be beer. Just letting you know, folks, it's beer. And it's from Revolution Brewing. And there's going to be wine, snacks, raffle prizes, and the event. This is also what you should know. It's free.
Free beer?
October 24th, Thursday, from 5 to 7 p.m., 1800 North Clybourne Avenue. Now, we talked about Midwest Grows Green. Ryan Anderson has been on the show several times. He's with Midwest Grows Green, and he comes on, and we talk about how to be smarter about your lawn and the stuff you're doing to it. Now, we're kind of past the point, we're rapidly getting past the point where you can do much except wait for next year. And I suppose you could core aerate at this point. It's not it's not in the textbooks.
Just too late to be seeding a new lawn, though.
Yeah, because that's not going to take at this point. But there are a lot of organizations that support the Midwest Grows Green organization. One of them is the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition. And we happen to have one of the board members on the line right now, Benjamin Krumstok. He is also president of Composting Partners. Benjamin, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for joining us.
Tell us a little bit about the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition.
Okay, so the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition is an organization charged with the mission of diverting food scraps from our landfills, getting those organics out of the landfills, getting them composted in the Illinois context. and preventing all the greenhouse gas generation, and additionally developing compost materials which are of benefit. It's a multi-stakeholder organization, all volunteer. Government agencies, quasi-government agencies, private companies, and just generally interested private citizens who are all part of this endeavor.
I remember when the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition was coming together a few years ago, and it's the kind of thing where you think, well, why do we need this? Doesn't everybody do this already? Aren't people smart? Aren't they putting their food scraps into compost and creating soil that can be used to benefit their lawns and gardens? But that's not necessarily the case, is it, Benjamin?
Oh, unfortunately not. I just listened in on a webinar last week, and somebody from the U.S. EPA shared the latest number, and that's that 22% of our landfill material from Metropolitan Solid Waste, or MSW, actually is food organics. It's a national statistic. It's not an Illinois statistic, but Illinois is not a big composting state. We can't claim to be Colorado or California or Washington State.
Well, we didn't even match up with our nearby states in terms of composting, and we just started changing those laws a couple of short years ago, and so we're playing a little bit of catch up here. No pun intended.
For sure.
In Illinois, aren't we, Benjamin?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, it's a growing trend, and it's one of these examples of a good grassroots endeavor where people are asking, people are interested, and that's really what's driving it, not any sort of government action.
And you have your own company, which is Composting Partners. Now, what's that all about?
Right. So that's actually in startup. That's going to be targeting food scraps in particular. It's aerobic in-vessel food scrap composting. So when people think of in-vessel, they typically think of the anaerobic digestion and gas generation process. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a product where we'll take the food scraps and generate compost for use. That's still in startup, and in parallel with that is consulting to be able to help potential compost users develop projects. If it's a park district, let's help connect them with the composters. Let's help them build the project, design the project, figure out how to lay compost down in their parks so that they can derive the benefits, and we can create an outlet for the compost that generators are producing today and can't get rid of yet.
Benjamin, can you explain what in-vessel means?
So the typical process of composting that I think most people are familiar with, if they are familiar with composting at all, is open windrow. Large piles, they're turned to maintain an aerobic or oxygen-infused environment. Mm-hmm. And that's done at a commercial scale, very large scale, takes a lot of land. In the Illinois context, it's typically in a more rural environment. If it's in the city, we have a compost manufacturer in the city of Chicago proper. It's in a more remote location, not close to residential folks. That's the typical windrow process. Aerobic in-vessel is a different model. Essentially, I always tell people, it's not a product I'm going to be building myself and designing myself, but there are numerous products out there you can use. I always tell people to think of it as a rail car, a tanker car, mm-hmm. With a little box around it. You feed in the organics at one end, and after, depending upon the particular system, after a month, after 2 months, out comes a finished compost product. In the meantime, the biology of composting is happening. The drum is rotating to maintain aerobic conditions. And this is a model that I think we can embed within communities, in urban and in suburban locations, so that we can basically address our waste product and convert it into a good, rich nutrient for the soil in place. process it where we generate the waste.
That makes sense. Now, part of the problem, from what I understand, and I don't want to get too much into the weeds, again, no pun intended, about this, is when you use food scraps, most of that is what we call green material, right? Which is the nitrogen rich material. You need to augment it with the brown material, the stalks and the leaves and the stems and that sort of thing. Is that right, Benjamin?
Absolutely, and depending upon which particular model you look at internationally, some folks who are doing the aerobic in-vessel composting are getting wood chips from, let's say, wood mills and the like, or other byproducts of manufacturing, and that's their brown. That's their carbon material. The shredded or chipped up tree trunks, etc. That's a great material for getting the recipe right when you generate compost. And
Right.
that's the same whether it's aerobic in-vessel or whether it's windrow. The difference is that the windrows that we're talking about are principally dealing with landscape, which includes the browns.
Right. And that is one of the inherent problems in doing food scrap composting, is that you have to bring in the carbon rich material at some point, because it needs to be mixed in there. All right, so that takes us to the event on Thursday. You're a composting guy. I can see the connection between what you're doing and what Midwest Grows Green is doing, but you're talking about composting food scraps. They're talking about safer lawns and gardens, and the connection, I assume, is compost, right, Benjamin?
Absolutely. The integrated pest management practices that MGG teaches, and even other parameters such as increased turf and playing field safety, a softer ground as opposed to a compacted ground. These are all areas where compost has a role to play within the overall system. The biggest challenge that the Illinois composters face is actually outlet. We want more people to use the compost, understand the very significant benefits of compost. Midwest Grows Green gives us an opportunity to get in front of an audience that either knows already or is learning the different ways that the compost can help. So, the compost has biological benefits, it has chemical benefits, and it actually has physical benefits that it renders when you add it to soil. So it's a great opportunity for you to improve soil health, and once you improve soil health, either the need for supplements such as herbicides or pesticides, or the quantity of supplements, again, pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers, can be decreased, and that just adds to overall community health.
Yeah, and as Peggy and I like to say on the show, it's the biology, stupid, because that's where it all leads. Well, Benjamin, I will see you on Thursday. Let folks know that this will be at Patagonia in Lincoln Park, 1800 North Clyburn Avenue. From 5 to 6, you guys will be talking to the folks. From 6 to 7, we'll have that panel discussion with Chip Osborne of Osborne Organics. Thank you for partnering with Midwest Grows Green. Thank you for being on the show today, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
That sounds great. Appreciate the opportunity. And if folks want to learn more about the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition, please visit us at illinoiscompost.org.
Soil and plant health don't. You hit the goalpost. That was perfect. That was so good. Yeah, right as we
Oh, great.
right as we went to the hard break, you nailed it. I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate it.
Wow, you're a real pro here, Benjamin. So pleasure talking to you. I'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll
okay?
see you Thursday.
Great. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a great Sunday.
Do you want to do City Grange?
If you're looking to invest in an electrical car or truck,
Yeah.
make sure to
Okay.
hire a state licensed
Yeah, I thought we were doing it going in, and
installation of
there was
that
no.
charger will require a
That's
permit
okay.
from most municipalities.
No
So
prob.
be sure to check the ICC website for a certified contractor at
Nope, it was too far to jump in at that point.
Also call DNR our services unlimited. They've been a licensed electrical
And Rick
contractor
just sent
since
something
1992. Visit their
from
website at
Noah. Winter outlook, warmer than average for many, wetter in the north. Drought improvement expected in the southeast.
But a lot harder to find someone better.
There are only a few weeks left to get to Rich's Fox Willow Pines in Woodstock and grab some rare and unique conifers before they
Cool.
go out of business. After 31 years, they're closing their doors.
Come back with quick City Grange.
That were 30 and 40% off are now 50% off the retail prices. This applies to container, B&B, and in-ground stock. The discount does not apply to any existing orders. Pines, spruces, firs, hemlocks, junipers, yews, and the deciduous larches, bald cypresses, and dawn redwoods are still available. So come out now to pick out your container or B&B trees. Call 815-338-7442 to schedule a time to tour the grounds to look for specimen trees. That's 815-338-7442. Don't miss this great opportunity to add some unique trees to your landscape projects. Go to richesfoxwillowpines.com for more information. Follow them on Facebook for updates. Again, that's richesfoxwillowpines.com.
You're listening to Smart Talk
On AM 1590, 95.9 FM, the Smart Talk app, and WCGORadio.com.
What are we listening to here?
Oh, come on. You got to know this.
No.
Oh, come on. You don't know that. All right. That's the Bullwinkle show.
Oh,
theme.
okay.
All
Wouldn't have caught it from that. But.
Rocky and Bull. Oh, really? Okay. All right. Meanwhile.
Yeah, meanwhile, so last Sunday we were talking with Melinda Meyer about getting the bulbs in.
Yep.
Getting our flower bulbs in. Well, garlic's also planted in the fall, just like flower bulbs.
Yep.
Except this
and
bulb.
I always miss it. I always miss it.
The
That's
garlic? The garlic or the flowers?
The garlic. You know, the bulb time planting for garlic in the fall. I always miss that window, which is why I'm very excited about this.
Yeah. It's garlic is the most delicious treat the following summer. And Peterson Garden Project garden educator Michael Mutolo is going to teach you everything you need to know about this tasty bulb, from how to plant it and, just as important, when to plant. This is going to be at City Grange next Saturday, October 26th, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And City Grange has a variety of heirloom seed garlic for purchase, so you can get started immediately right after attending the event. You can RSVP on their website, citygrange.com. City Grange is located at 5500 Northwestern Avenue in Chicago. There's always valet parking on weekend. Citygrange.com. Learn, shop, blossom.
And get the garlic in the ground.
The garlic.
This is what I always forget, because then I get to the spring, I go, oh, I meant to get that garlic.
I have a little bit of garlic at home. I have to remember to plant it.
So I'll get I got my walking onions in, but I didn't get
Yay.
the garlic. Yeah. Let's go to our meteorologist, Rick DeMaio. Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Yeah. Good morning, Mike and Peg. Mike, is it me or is the Rocky and Bullwinkle tune there? Is that like the Dick Van Dyke Show at Speed 78?
Could be.
Yeah.
Maybe you just cracked the code right there.
They just play it really fast. That's.
It seems that way, right? If you slow it down, it goes. And you can kind of like picture him like tripping over the ottoman there, right?
Exactly. Now I have to ask you: did you know what that theme was?
Oh yeah, of course.
Right.
You know me, what I do when I do in my spare time. And this is not to.
You have spare time.
Put, little. Yeah, Peg, I have spare time. I have. You wouldn't believe what I do with my spare time. Believe it or not, I look up and I actually scan YouTube for old clips of my favorite cartoons, and then I share them with my brothers. No, seriously, we were just actually playing back Felix Cat. Remember that? Felix Cat, and then also Minute Mouse. Remember Minute Mouse? Felix Cat and Minute Mouse. No, it was Courageous Cat, Minute Mouse, and then you had Felix the Cat, who was the guy with the magic bag. You know that, right?
Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful
There you go.
Yeah, I've got them all here.
So much your size will there you see. I know half the song. Yeah.
Your heart will go pitter pat, which means you're having a grabber while you're watching Felix the Cat. Okay.
Right. And then you had Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse with oh my God, I love all that stuff. Anyway,
and Ellie
so
and Andy are just
I-
kind of tilting their head, going, "Huh?"
Wow. Good.
That's all right. I have, believe it or not, don't forget, I have students that age group I talk to all the time, and they look at me and they go, "Okay, now where are you going with this, DeMaio?" And I have to like bring it back down to earth. But that's why I love teaching, because it enables me to be a goof sometimes and then get back to science. So people see, the real side of me pretty much all the time. I am who I am. I'm not cutting corners there.
No,
That was Popeye's
That's
line.
I am what I am. Oh, I'll show that. All right.
Let's see. I think we've wasted 2 minutes so far, right?
We have, so we better get to weather here. And you sent us a headline on a subject line that said maybe snow by next week, and I said no, please do not do
No, we got garlic to plant.
Do you guys remember what happened this weekend last year?
No.
I see you don't. Peg, do you remember?
We've
'Cause I know
probably
you talked
blocked
about
it out
maybe
of
a
our
little bit.
heads.
No, it was that wicked snow event that we had on a Saturday afternoon. We had this upper low come through. We had like literally thunder snow with grapple. We had
the grapple.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, you remember? See, grapple will always make you go, yeah, I think I remember something with grapple.
Yeah, I remember that.
But we had like 1 to 2 inches of snow up across northern sections of Illinois. That was the event, Mike. If you remember, Wisconsin was playing in Camp Randall, and it was snowing during the football game. If you remember that,
I do remember that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember I was out in the yard trying to plant something with this coming down. I think I even wrote you now that you bring it up.
Yeah. And the reason why I bring that up is people were saying, is this a sign of things to occur? And I typically say in the middle of October, well, it's kind of a little early, but once you get into the second half of October and you start to get into these shots of cold weather and very dynamic patterns, it typically is a sign of things to come. And if you remember, last year, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, what did we have? Drum roll, please. We had a blizzard.
Oh, okay.
Really bad with your memories. I got to stoke some like interest in like past weather. But yeah, that was when we had the blizzard. We had nearly 12 to 15 inches of snow across northern Illinois.
Yeah.
We had rain and snow across much of the eastern side of the city, and basically downtown Chicago was all rain. So the reason why I bring this up is the pattern has become very, very dynamic. A lot of shots of cold air, a lot of shots of warm air. We had a beautiful day yesterday, made it up to 68 at O'Hare. Today, I think, is actually going to be nicer, only because we wanted the cloud cover in the afternoon. But even though it started out kind of cloudy with a little bit of fog and some haze and temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, it's beautiful. You take a walk outside, by the way, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm walking. It is about as good as it gets. And the reason why I say this is this may be the last day, today and tomorrow, where we'll see temperatures in the 60s, because the pattern by this time next week, we'll be talking about overnight lows in the 30s and afternoon highs only in the low to mid 40s, guys.
Ooh, I'm going to have to take some plants indoors. I've been leaving them out there. I knew I could get away with it for now, but now I think I'm going to have to get
a few more
them
to bring in. Yeah.
Oh yeah. By this time next week, we'll be talking about overnight lows without a doubt during the week, most likely in the 20s. And this is just the beginning of the month. So I always tell people you almost have to wait until about the middle of October before the signals kind of begin to align themselves.
Yeah.
And you almost have to think of the middle of October as almost like the middle of May. Very changeable month. You can have very warm weather early. You can have very cold weather late. Just like May, you can have very cold weather early and very warm weather late. And that's one of the reasons why NOAA, which is what this whole conversation is about, when they issued their winter outlook over the weekend, or I should say on Friday, they pretty much went with the current signals, and they kind of take that out to about a month or two as long as the tropics don't get too active. And it looks like the tropics are definitely beginning to somewhat quiet down after we had Tropical Storm Nestor move through the northern Gulf. And that usually indicates that the pattern is going to stay this way for about 2 months. So again, if your listeners are kind of trying to figure out where we're going with this, basically cooler than normal temperatures across the upper Midwest, wetter than normal as well, mainly due to the fact that the Gulf of Mexico is still wide open. And I'm thinking we could have a fairly cold and snowy November around here, and that may actually lead into early December as well. And I'm only going that far because once we get past the middle of December, who knows how things could change. And we've seen that more and more, Mike, and take these highly variable conditions that go through the end of the winter season. It's really tough to nail it down with one or two words.
All right. Well, it sounds like we better buckle up for the next month or so. Rick, thank you so much. Great having you on the show. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, guys.
I want to thank everybody. Whoop, there he goes. Thank everybody who's on the show today. Of course, Scott Jameson from Bartlett Tree Experts. Go to bartlett.com. Sergeant Jessica Klinge from the Illinois Green Veterans. Benjamin Krumstok from the Illinois Food Scrap Coalition. Ellie, Andrew. Until next time, go green or
go home.
Stadler?
Yeah, what?
Is that it?
Yes, it's over.
What a jerk.
How'd you like it?
I don't know. I slept through the whole thing.
Well, you didn't miss much.